All right then. It says we're live. Hopefully, I'm coming through a wee bit clearer now, seeing as, yes, as I'm blending back in with the dragon, as I do identify as a half Jewish dragonkin on this internet stuff and things as well. It's like I still remember a preschool progress report. It's like, yes, memes has stopped growling at the other children and acting like a dinosaur. He's begun to associate with the other children. This is a good thing and everything. You want to develop social skills. But I was memeing Godzilla. It's with Godzilla versus Megalon. He's kind of going along. I was kicking like some pine cones and rocks and pretending they were boulders. Aside from that, folks on the internet are talking about stuff and things. So I asked a wise woman once, how do we save the world? And what she told me is, you essentially need to get everyone in the world in a room together and hash it all out. And it's like, well, I don't think there's a room big enough, but we have the internet. We have the technology. Why can't we get folks into the room? We're limited by 10 by StreamYards, which happens to be an account that I happen to pay for because I'm like, I think this stuff is important. So let's do something that a wise furry once told me we should be wary of. Let's put the link out there in the chat. Hail chat. Hail friends from different places in the world. Folks that may be operating within quote unquote real life. Some folks are operating within quote unquote the internet. It's alright. The internet is a series of tubes. I remember somebody saying that back in the day. Oh God, how right they were in certain parables. But all I know is we're going to discuss some of the public discourse. We're going to see what's going on. I see you down there, Wookie. How you doing? Welcome here. Welcome, friends, countrymen, Romans, people of the internet, everything in between and wherever we're going. So what we're doing is we're posting the link to StreamYards in the relevant chats below. If you would like to join us, feel free to click the link. You will then enter our broadcast studio. It will then ask for cam and mic access. You can choose not to use your camera if you would like. If you would like to remain a certain level of anonymity, that is fine. But yeah, just make sure your mic works so you can pop in here. We could have a little chat. We could have words, as I believe Spartacus once said. God, that was a good series. Oh my God, dude, I set up a training post outside and stuff. So I got like these polypropylene gladiuses, and I never actually finished going through it. That was my goal by the end of the summer. I got very lazy. I should start doing that again. That would be awesome. Hail, Tom. How are we doing, my friend? Feel free to join us here. Let me see. I think I popped out of chat. I also popped out of chat. No, it should still be there. But that's okay. We'll throw this here anyway. Because all I know is people are cranky, and I always hear the term silent majority. Silent majority. Here's the thing. People are talking about stuff. They ain't silent about it. What I think it is it's a quiet majority. And I think the quiet majority makes up a whole heck of a lot of folks because literally I think I finished a Tim Pool video and then all of a sudden a Fox News video comes up. And it's going through, it's a segment with the five. So you got Greg Gutfeld, Walt Williams, and then Jesse, not Jesse Ventura, but the other guy. He was like an intern for Bill O'Reilly or something. But Jesse Waters, he was a producer. You got to give credit where credit's due. But he's like, well, I say what I want or what I mean on the show, but I'm holding back like 10 or 15%, and he's getting poked for it. He's like, well, I don't say that here. I say that among friends. It's like, oh, well, I think this might explain a lot. It's like, all right, you're on a show that's being broadcast to probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of folks, once you add in the internet numbers and everything. It's like, okay, so is he factoring in some things that maybe some other folks are not factoring in? I don't know. How does this all work? Then again, he's also on a cable news show that is regulated by the FCC. Okay, I get that. But at the same time, I don't like that. Why don't I like that? It's like, well, you should be able to say what you think and feel. You don't have to be a dick about it. Okay? Because what if you're a dick? Yeah, it feels good. I was totally a dick the other day. I mean, literally, it's like, I do have a problem. It is my middle name. It's just, these are the consistent things that happen. It just, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You try to do better. That's why I'm like, all right, as long as you ain't lying about stuff and everything, that should be okay. I don't know. I don't know. Is this the real world? Is this just fantasy? Dude, because like 2020. Am I right? It's what's happening. It's you're having so many things happen all at once, and like this all seems to go down at the beginning of the year. If I'm ignoring anybody in the little studio below, my apologies, because I think the window is large enough. But then again, I just got this back, and I have been known to do that in the past. But yeah, we're doing this because I can actually have like some tabs and stuff open, just so it's like, oh, I can actually try to do some curation rather than just straight speaking into the camera and hoping the system doesn't crash. Hopefully, that'll be a third time. We're gonna try to leave this for actual production value, because definitely need to put together some clips, because, well, that is fun. We do need humor in these times. It's, I don't know. Are the memes this year just going to be like 2020? Wasn't this supposed to be the year 2000? Because I remember growing up, it's like the year 2000 is coming. What's going to happen? The computers are going to stop working. Why? Because we're gonna flip, and we didn't account for it would increase more. Wait. So you're saying we just didn't have enough? It's kind of like an odometer; it just stops working, or would it just reset or do something? I don't know. All I know is I kept getting access to, I think, my Microsoft Office Student Edition by just resetting the clock on the thing. It's like, oh, well, you need upgrade. It's like, well, let's go back 2 months. All right, let's go back a few more months and everything. My apologies, Bill. I'm sorry about it, but it seemed like a little bit of buggy code that you eventually patched. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know. Was that called being a hacker? I thought the fanciest thing I did was copy a copy of MechWarrior 3. It's like, you cannot burn this onto a CD. It's like, Terrat. Show all files. Copy it onto hard drive. Then burn it onto CD. Yes, my apologies for that theft. I will happily compensate you for anything. I don't know who makes MechWarrior. Yes, MechWarrior there. Dun-dun-dun, Florida man. No offense to folks from Florida, but you have a comic coming out. I hear it's supposed to be very entertaining and an uplifting story. I digress. But I see you there, Addy. I see you there, Addy. There should be a link in the chat if you would care to join, because I'm absolutely just spamming this out. I'm probably not going to go for too long. I just want to throw it out there. I realize, yes, it's a Saturday night, and what are we going to do? Because obviously, well, we're still kind of in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of places have actually opened up. I went out to the pub for a friend's birthday the other day, and it's like, oh, well, they have an outdoor deck. Let me grab a mask and stuff. And I go back there. I'm like, oh, I see a bunch of folks out there. It's like, well, people are drinking. If you're drinking, you're not going to have your mask on and stuff. I'm like, you're all right. You're outside. I'm like, how do I get a beer? I haven't been to a bar in a while. What are the protocols? It's like, do I order here? And I see folks in there. It's like, all right, folks are around. It's maybe you're not heaped up and just like completely like that the whole time. But they're out there. They have different air filtration systems and everything. Because I mean, it's a private club. They have smoking inside too. So it's like, this is the way I kind of look at it. It's like, all right, you have that. Now, just in my opinion, I'm like, if there happened to be somebody sick there, okay, maybe there'd be some issues if you're right next to them for a while. But then again, it's like, I see a diagram that ends up getting set up by like mass.gov the other day, because Charlie Baker, they send you like the links and everything so you can keep up the track. It's like, I believe it's August 1st, they're putting in a special mandate where what it says is, if you're traveling to Massachusetts, you must either have a negative COVID test or do like, I think like the 2 week self-quarantine or so. It's like up to a $500 fine. You're like, what? I'm like, oh, that seems like a lot of BS there. And then it's like, there are certain exceptions. It's like, all right, if you're traveling through, you're doing this, you're going to a connecting flight, or you go to a low-risk state. I'm like, what is a low-risk state? They basically show a picture. I'm like, oh, that looks like most of New England right there. So I'm like, oh, so if I go to any bordering state, so like if I go up to the mall in New Hampshire, that's fine. And you're looking at it, I'm like, how do they define it? I'm like, is this biased, or do the numbers actually reflect that, in that our number of cases? Because literally the entire rest of the country, you're looking at like, it's all red. But New England, it's like, well, no, that's blank. I just see the white up there. It's blank. So it's like, oh. So it doesn't really affect us. I'm like, okay. What's that mean for the rest of the country? I mean, like, we're continuing to open up. Like, more and more places are kind of getting back to normal and everything. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, we did shut things down kind of ahead of time. And just as far as, like, I've seen a lot of folks wearing masks. Now, I do see a lot of folks, like, not necessarily walking around with masks as well, but that also usually doesn't seem to be in super crowded areas. It's like, in areas where there are a lot of people and probably not a lot of airflow. I'm like, oh, well, maybe if you have a mask, is it perfect? No. I mean, if you have like a full-on respirator or something, yeah, I guess. But the big thing is, I just kind of view it as like either smoking or that meme of like the two gals outside when it's cold out, because you can see your breath. You can kind of see the plume. If you see it outside, it's like, oh, as you exhale, within 6 feet, it's probably mostly dispersing upward, just because that's kind of how I think fluid dynamics works, because air is a fluid. It doesn't always seem that way, but we're living in it. It's kind of like hacking on, was it World of Warcraft, where if all of a sudden you have a mage and an opposing fraction, and they do a certain combination of polymorphing you, getting you into Frost Nova, so you're in a kind of like different altered state. All of a sudden they polymorph you, and then they critical you with like an ice attack. It's like, oh, congratulations, now you can fly, or essentially just swim. It's creative use of game mechanics. I'm not saying that you should do that, but we totally may have done that. My apologies. But, oh, I see you, Melissa. I see you there, Melissa. How are we doing? Oh, well, and that's the thing, Wookie. It's like, well, most people typically be fine. It's like, yeah, you hope so. But then again, this is a novel disease. It's like, what are the potential long-term side effects and everything? I'll give you a quick example. We had the Zika virus just not even that long ago, probably only like a couple of years ago, because I remember right around that time I was going on to Florida with ex-Mrs. Memes. And when we were down there, it's like that was kind of on the trail end, but at the time it's like, oh, well, we had been considering maybe starting a family or something like that. And when you're hearing it's like, well, there might be increased complications with kiddos and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, these are things people should probably know about and everything. Because that was the thing. They're saying basically even for up to 6 months after, if any of the parents happen to be infected, that they believe those were things that they were seeing. And it's like you go back, it's like, oh, I don't know. I went to public school. It's like, well, they gave us like, was it measles, mumps, and rubellum or something like that, the MMR and everything, just because it's like, okay, well, this has been a thing for a while. Why? Well, apparently in our past, we had some problems with some diseases, so we did come up with vaccinations. Now, since I am not a doctor, I am not a virologist, I am not a medical person by any way, shape, or form. All I'm saying is, when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, could there be a certain percent of the population that might have complications or something? Yeah, there could be. And you know what? Isn't that why you kind of want that whole herd immunity thing? If 90+% of folks tend to have it, you're a lot less likely to have it. So those folks that may have a religious objection, may have particular underlying medical conditions, could we identify that and probably better compensate for that? Yeah, I think we could. And it's almost like, oh, maybe if we have a novel virus, then maybe there are some folks out there that end up having horrific responses to it. Again, I believe now I can actually get a test. And it's like, oh, wait, hold on. I don't have to pay out of pocket. If I can get that, and it's actually the antibody test, because, what was it, early February? Dude, I felt like crap or something. One of the roomies had the flu. Originally, they thought it was like flu B or something, but then again, nobody was looking for the coronavirus or anything like that. It's like we didn't really have any of those test kits or anything around, and if that's kind of what they thought it was, I'm like, well, this kind of looks like a coronavirus. It's like, well, if that's what you're seeing, if we can actually test that now, because all I know is it was like 5 days. I felt like absolute crap. And I tend to actually be pretty good about not getting sick, but Rumi got it. I ended up getting it. And the thing was, it's like, oh, well, her girlfriend didn't get it, and she normally gets everything. I'm like, oh, so would that mean 2 people had symptoms? One person seemed to be asymptomatic? How the heck does this work? It's like, it literally was to the point where had I not actually like got food in my stomach and actually like got sleep like right around the 5th day, I was actually considering going to the hospital. But other than that, I'm basically just chilling at home. So it's like, okay, yeah, so I'm not really going out or anything. I feel like crap. And of course, I'm listening to some Mr. Medicare videos covering the tragedy that was unfolding in Wuhan. And I'm like, is this what has befallen me? Now, again, I have no evidence of this. Hopefully, maybe I'll go in and we'll update some folks. But then again, at the time, it's like, all right, well, I kind of seem to be fine, I think. Then again, I'm not really an at-risk population as far as I know. what's an at-risk population? So, the old man and stuff, and I wouldn't mind having the old man around for a few more years as much as we could. So it's like, if we made the choice to our own life, then hey, isn't that what we should do? Shouldn't we kind of, I don't know, maybe work to protect, like, I don't know, our elders and stuff like that? Haven't they kind of put in their time and everything? I don't know. I mean, to each their own. I don't like mandating things. I prefer asking, and at least Governor Baker for a while, he was asking folks to do the masks and everything. You could also say that, okay, you're accustoming people to it and everything, because let's face it, the president just straight out came out with, especially with the current political atmosphere, and is like, we're gonna shut down the country for 3 months, and everybody, if you go outside, needs to wear a mask and gloves and stuff like that. Dude, people would be in an uproar and stuff like that. The sheer fact that he cut off travel to like China and stuff like that, people are going after him for that. And then again, the way he also phrases things and everything seems extremely triggering to people, and I would I would prefer not to see that. Somehow I think if a tweet was coming from President Barack Obama, it would have been a wee bit more uplifting. I don't know. I'm not a good chronomancer or anything like that. Yes, I want to be the most powerful wizard the internet has ever seen, but yeah, chronomancy really isn't my thing. I just remember stuff and things from what I've seen before. Yes, yes. Now. Bill Gates has done a lot for folks, and he's made a whole butt ton of money. These things totally do happen as well. So we'll toss the link. Yes, it's getting a little bit late. We'll toss the link in the chat one more time. Let me see if I actually did miss anybody. Yes, okay, I reset. Okay, maybe I was missing people. I have no idea. Okay, probably not. It's all right. It's a Saturday night. People have much better things to do. But you know what? Doing it. So I said I could. Oh, wait, I actually have access to other stuff and things. But, yeah, we can do this as well. Let's do that here. Why? Because we can. And sometimes when you put links out on the internet, oh wait, I actually need to download Discord and stuff again. Things that you forgot to bring back up. These things happen. But so what else we got on? Oh, so this dam in China, Three Gorges Dam, and apparently it seems like it's getting ready to break. And if that breaks, apparently there are a number of places, I forget one of the cities' name, but I believe Wuhan is in the path of the potential flood. Oh, actually, this is something we could look up. Oh, God, this is terrible. You're looking at this and you're like, that looks like it might wipe out millions of people. So let's see here. So Three Gorges Dam. Yep, that's right up there. China's mighty Yangtze is heaving from rain, and the Three Gorges will be tested. Oh dear God. Wall Street Journal. Excessive rainfall in China. Three Gorges Dam and other Yangtze River dams spill water. Oh jeez. The NTD. Hold on. Let me see. Release filter. U.S. dam collapse simulation goes viral. China retaliates on U.S. consulate. Oh dear. Goes viral. Okay, now can I even share audio here? Let's see. Let's do a test. Why? Because we can. Okay. Ads. Oh my God. I see why people. Okay, skip. Thank you. Okay. Is anything additional being broadcast? Huh? Hey Joe, I see you down there, man. All right. You're not hearing any voiceover from somebody other than myself, are you? Okay. I should probably actually share the video. Oh, a wild Christy has appeared.
Hey,
Hello,
what's going on?
Christy.
What are you
Not too much.
doing?
I was just trying to. Oh, I'm having a stream. We're having the digital public space because a lot of folks are talking about stuff and things on the internet. So
Ah,
Yes. A wise woman once told me after I asked her, "How do we save the world?" And what she told me was, "Oh, you need to get everybody into a big room and hash it out." And I'm like, I don't think there's a room actually that big, but we have the internet. We have
Yes,
this
we do.
technology. So what are you up to? How are you doing?
I am wonderful. I'm trying to moderate Scott's stream, and my cat is just that's really cat. None
So
of you.
so so how goes the moderation of Scotch Stream and
It's
moderating your cat?
it's okay. But I saw the link. I was like, ooh, memes is live.
I know. It's such a dangerous thing, and
I know.
I know. I just got my computer back because it got fixed because they replaced the logic drive, the hard drive, and a bunch of other stuff because
Oh
I killed it.
wow.
I killed it for a second time with too much pornography.
Oh wow. You gotta
And
watch
it's a
out for
Mac.
that porn.
It's a Mac too. Well, I also assume it's probably that I also did a lot of video editing and would
Mm.
capture a lot of screens from different I don't know, live streams and stuff. And when you're constantly getting like, I don't know, hours and hours of video footage and rendering it and this and that combined with all the porn tabs, I think I managed to kill a Mac.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, my computer is not the best in the world. I constantly have to delete stuff or save it on a thumb drive or something like that because the memory is just not there and I'm too cheap to go get something else.
This is why some folks would say I'm kind of, I guess, a snob because my 2012 MacBook was what I literally just had, and instead of doing video editing, because all right, I don't have the space or really the processing power, and it's probably
Mhm.
gonna crash the system. So like, I'm gonna pop onto Streamlabs and just broadcast live for 5 minutes and just give my thoughts. So I don't even
Mhm.
have to deal with any of that BS. I'm just like, all right, lower production value, but you know what? I put my thoughts out there on the internet.
You do.
So.
And it's some and you know what they're your thoughts and people aren't always going to agree, but I mean, that's your thoughts and you're entitled to them in my opinion, even though
Yeah.
YouTube sucks sometimes.
That's the thing. It's like I'm literally like, oh, let me do several platforms here. So it's like we put it out there, and because that's the thing. There seems to be different cultures depending on what platform. Whether you're talking about Twitter, whether you're talking about YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's
Mhm.
like things seem to be different, but just everything kind of seems to be converging at a point where it's like, all right. So when Facebook kind of starts to turn into Twitter, and you're just kind of seeing like nonstop flame wars and stuff, I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, is the system operating as intended?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm not the best person to answer that because as much as I want to like with Facebook, to me Facebook is more of a trash fire than Twitter, but my
Oh,
parents use Facebook, and when my nieces visit my parents, they post pictures there. So that's the only reason why I have a Facebook, so I can get those pictures. I mean, that's it.
well, and this is the thing, and I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if you've been on since the update, but is it just me or are Facebook and Twitter kind of looking a lot similar?
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
It kind of reminds me. It's like it seems like most cars nowadays are just kind of like modeling themselves after like a BMW 3 Series. Like it's slowly transitioned over the years. Now you're getting the larger vehicles. They've kind of got the rounded like edges and lines to them. I'm like, is everyone just copying each other?
No, and you have a point. And to me, everybody's like, "Oh, I have this fancy new car," or I got this new car." I don't know a lot of fancy cars. To me, I just know a Ford, Dodge. As long as my car gets me to point A to point B, I'm happy.
I had a Geo Metro. I loved it. We got like 45 miles to the
Oh my
gallon.
God,
Well,
I had a Geo Metro too. Holy
oh,
shit, I loved that car.
was it a hatchback?
Yes, it was.
Mine had a teal hatch because I guess there was some damage. I bought it from my uncle for like $200.
Well, I got mine from my older cousin. She painted it pink.
Ooh, well mine was kind of a faded red, so it wasn't that far off. What was it, a manual or standard?
It was a standard.
Me
I don't know
too.
how to drive a manual.
Oh wait, no, excuse me. I had a manual. I had a 5 speed. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yep, I can't. Me trying to have my mother trying to teach me to do is 5 speed. I was like, nope, just give me a man, give me an automatic. Let me get that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, to each their own. My thing is, I also ended up doing a lot of driving at some points, kind of like doing
Hmm.
travel and sales. So then I got like a little Honda after that, another 5 speed, just because I'm like, if it was an automatic, I'm sitting in traffic, I thought I would fall asleep.
Yeah. And I remember the Honda Civics too, the old Honda Civics with the hatchback.
Yeah.
I remember those cars. I would kill, well, I would literally kill, but I would love to have one of those cars again. I mean, they're so economically friendly. There's no of the updated like computer stuff that's in my car, like in my car now. I'm just like, I think my car more computerized than most other cars are versus when I was 16 and I got my first car? I think so.
Well,
I,
go on.
Go ahead.
Well, my thing is, a lot of this technology probably does help make cars more efficient as well. But then again, at the same time, isn't it kind of like computers? It's like, well,
Hmm.
do we need to keep on making super fancy cars, or like if we took some of the technology we have now and we just kind of simplified it to have like what we had back then, would cars be like that much cheaper or something? Like, do we? Because all I know is at one point, like 15 years ago, there was like a BMW that brand new was like 7 Series. It rolled into the gas station I was working at. I'm like, oh, that's a beautiful car. It's like, all right, fill her up. Okay, they go into the store to grab some a Dunkin's coffee, and by the time they come out, they go to start their car. The car won't start.
Oh shit.
You get like an $80,000 car. It won't start. To be fair,
Yeah.
the BMW mobile road service was there in about half an hour. Got them up and running, but I'm like, all right, it was like one little fuse or switch in this car, and it wouldn't go.
Well,
It just
and that to me, I always stick to Hondas if I can, because to me they're really reliable cars. Ford, uh, what was the acronym? Found on road dead. I don't like Ford cars or Ford trucks. So I mean, to those to you memes or anybody that's in the chat that likes a Ford, sorry.
I had a Ford. I had a Ford Explorer. I mean, it ended up having a whole lot of brake problems and everything at the time. I mean, I did end up getting the extended warranty, which ended up paying for itself. My mechanic is like, "Oh, your warranty paid for a lot of stuff." And then after it was fixed, I was coming back and I got pulled over by a cop. It's like, "Oh, you know why I pulled you over?" It's like, "Oh, well, there's smoke coming from your wheels." I'm like, "What?"
Ah,
I'm like, "Oh, that doesn't sound good." I'm like, well, my mechanic's at the end of this road. Do you mind if I go there? He's like, all right, all right. I'm like, oh. It's like, I want to make sure your car wasn't on fire because there was smoke, so it seemed like the car was on fire. I think there was some like excess brake fluid that the wheels ended up getting heat up or it went onto the brake. But to be fair, I'm like, it was kind of concerning. And that, and I think I almost hit like a former cop that was trying to
oh
cross a
wow.
crosswalk or something. Well, he said like I think there was like a man there, and to be fair, I probably didn't see him. Probably should have paid more attention. I think I was more
Hmm.
like transfixed because like, oh, I think there's a cop behind me. So it's like one of those things like you're paying attention to this, and to be fair, he probably realized that. I could just be making that last part up to cover my ass, but these things happen. We got to be honest, Christy. We got to be honest about it.
I like Joe in the chat. He's like, Tempo was the shit. And I won't lie, they were. I like those cars.
It, it is what it. To be fair, when I bought my Explorer, I bought it after the one that they covered that had like the high roll rate. I'm
Hmm.
like, well, as long as I don't buy this version, I'm like, all right, this one has a bit of a wider track. I mean, to be fair, if I did anything overly cut the wheel, I'm sure I could have still rolled it. But I'm like, well, at least they didn't write an article about this one.
Yeah, and so my cousin's first car was my grandparents' station wagon.
Hmm.
Well, this station wagon was so old. It was one of those station wagons that didn't have seatbelts on the back. So my younger cousins, he 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 turned to a right or a left, and they just go this way in the back seat, and they go this way, and I was just like, oh my
Wait,
god,
wait, wait. Was that the reverse seating where you're kind of facing
yes,
backwards?
yes.
I think the justification that somebody came up with back in the day, it's like, well, if you hit something head on, you got the seat to kind of like stop you from going that way. But then again, if somebody rear ends you, you're kind of effed. That's probably a bad day.
I don't know what kind of vehicle my grandmother was driving, but this was in the '60s when my mom It's a really grainy video, but they're like recording something. And my grandmother was never, she was always a horrible driver. She's again turning, and then you literally, my mother was standing up in the back seat. Could have been no more than 4 or 5. She stands up, and I'm like, where'd she go? And she ended up tumbling over to the front seat on the floorboard on the passenger side. I was like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, sometimes driving, and then sometimes we can't forget, at times, some people, some passengers may become slightly unruly.
That's true.
I'm not gonna lie. I had one of my friends at one point after XX Mrs. Memes went in to use the restroom of a gas station. She came out with donuts, and then one of my friends decided to take a Boston cream and use it like a cream pie.
Oh
Well,
no.
I was driving her car back because the ladies were intoxicated.
Oh no. Did it get all over the seat?
Well, there was also some Mexican food that got all over the place. Oh, it was a mess, but it's okay. I got pictures, and I don't let people forget it. Well, that's the thing. If somebody's gonna smack you in the face with a cream pie or donut, it's like, all right, you get pictures, and it's like, well, all right, if something happens, I'm gonna bring up how silly you were.
I'm such a chicken shit when it comes to like being pulled over by the police. I mean, it's not something I'll if I did something, I'll try to talk my way out of it. It's just if I end up getting the ticket, I was like, shit, how the hell am I going to pay this ticket this time? I mean, because you got to rob Peter to pay Paul to, especially
Now,
speeding ticket.
apologies for my misogyny, Christy, but I have to ask.
Okay.
Have you ever cried to attempt to get out of a ticket?
Hell yes, I have,
Okay.
and it's worked every single damn time.
I've heard collaborating information, and I don't want to say that this is the case for all. Hashtag not all. Just not. I'm just doing market research.
I mean, I'm 37 now, but it worked a lot whenever I was in my 20s, like my early like 20, 21, 22. I mean, it really doesn't work as much now, but I've gotten out of hefty tickets before. Just I can cry at the time of a hat. Or I mean, all I got to do is think of what was the movie Beaches, and I'm crying.
Oh, is that the movie with sharks?
No. It's a really cheesy chick flick movie from the 80s.
Oh, is it like The Notebook?
No.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
I've
kind of,
never
kind of.
I've never seen The Notebook.
Well,
I hear
kind of too.
comparisons.
I could, but Beaches is the one that I always go to. So yeah, yep, I can confirm that crying at the dime of a hat. Sometimes the cops, or if you want to try to fight it and you cry and they give it to you, sometimes if you try to take it to court, the cops won't show up. So it is what it is. If they sometimes they want to, they don't.
Well,
So
yeah, no, and one of the things too is, especially if you're going through like the time and the trouble and stuff to like appeal
mhm.
something as well, the fact that if you actually show up and you try to look like halfway decent and stuff
Mhm.
like that, it's like, okay, well, at least you showed up. And there's one thing that Dr. Shiva told me: it's half of life is just showing up.
Well, and that's so when like speed chops, especially in like smaller
Mm.
cities, like it'll be like 45 to 60, down to 55, something like that. My sister lived in a small town like that, and I went from a 45 to a 60, but there was a sign that as I'm driving down the highway, that it says 60, so I went 60. The cop gave me a ticket anyway. I said, "Oh hell no, I'm fighting this thing." It was an all day thing because my sister lived 2.5 hours away
Mm.
from me, so I took a Thursday off, and I fought that ticket. I wasn't going to pay the $275 for that
Right,
ticket, and I took pictures of where my car was
right.
to where the sign was at 60 mile per hour speed. It was less than 10 yards. So yeah, I got that ticket
I,
dismissed.
I, I don't know, Christy. Again, I ain't an attorney. That was my father, Mr. Memes. But that kind of sounds like entrapment. It's like, all right, here's the 60. We got you literally right here as you're accelerating, like 10 yards. It's like, I don't know. That sounds like kind of entrapment. Had the cop been, I don't know, maybe a quarter, a half mile or so back, maybe that would be more pertinent. Maybe you would be Christie with the heavy foot. But all I know is if I was attempting to represent, but I am not an attorney, somebody in a court of law, I'd say, Your Honor,
Oh,
you don't think that's entrapment? How much of a difference would 10 yards on the other side of the sign met? I don't know. If it's
yeah,
less than a 10-mile-per-hour difference, that sounds like entrapment to me.
absolutely. It completely was. I mean, it's a small town. A lot of the time, that's how they get their the bread and butter is with the tickets that they would give. If I, like you said, if I was a little bit further away, I can understand that. But I was within taking a very clear picture of that. So yeah, I got that dismissed.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It's like I've had accidents where it's like, oh, well, where was it? Well, it was at a place where I think somebody had literally a week or two before literally just run over a sign because of like how they had like the median and everything set up. And of course, it's like, yeah, I probably could have paid more attention, but I'm like, this seems like a very obvious place. It's like, oh, well, somebody had hit another warning sign literally a week before or so. It's like, oh, this seems like a high very incident area. Maybe we should redesign it. And I believe they redesigned it.
Hmm.
I could be wrong. Again, might just be covering my ass, but I see you down there, Ostinator. Welcome, welcome one, welcome all. But yeah, we'll toss the link in the little chatter room one more time. We'll see
Okay.
if anybody else would like to join us again. This is According to Christie,
Hello.
who helps host the Queen's Council, along with, I believe you've done some people of Walmart streams as well.
Yes, those are those are streams. Yeah,
They are.
the memes that come out of those streams.
Well,
Poor Justin Proper.
the internet runs on memes.
I still love the one that you did with me sneezing to the Sonic just speeding away. I have a shitty day. I will go to my Instagram and I will just click on that. It cheers me right up. It's great.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I work with what I'm given. It's like, all right, what are the raw materials? All right, we got some live streams, we got some lighthearted banter, some interesting things that happen, and then things just appear in my mind, and then I'm like, oh wait, I actually have other material as well. Like, oh, I already took this for my Sonic video. Let me recycle this. Why not use this? Let's add an Ostinator. Hail Ostinator.
I'll be right back. I have my pizza's here. Hold on just a second.
All
Sorry.
right. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. How about you?
Just another day in paradise, brother. I recently received my main computer, my newer MacBook back from repair.
Oh, awesome.
I know. I killed it for a second time, especially the logic drive, by consuming far too much pornography.
Oh, man, I feel that.
These things happen. That's why you get Apple Care. Again, this is not a paid endorsement yet. We'll see what happens in the future. But no, what's going on, man? Just trying to solve the problems of the world. Slowly but surely, losing viewers at every moment. Oh, we just gained some back. Okay, I wish you could turn this thing off here because it's like, all right, who really cares as long as you're having good conversation?
Well, absolutely.
Then again, money is also nice. Again, I am not monetized. Well, I think this is one of the goals, and I think just to kind of carry the conversation in another direction, I would actually say YouTube and a lot of these different platforms that we have, or platforms, publishers, whatever they may be, are actually the modern means of production. What say you?
No, I absolutely agree with that because...
Did anyone else hear a piano?
No.
No, I didn't hear a piano.
Okay, it must be on my end. Never mind. Continue. I don't know. I just heard a ding. I just got the computer back. Maybe it's telling me to upgrade my operating system. I think I need to update it or something like that. I think they gave me the right size hard drive. For some reason, I thought I had a full terabyte on this hard drive. It was a solid state, but I don't know. I'll have to double check my receipt. Maybe they'll give me a new MacBook. I'm sorry. I just spouted a bunch of words.
No, it's all right.
Do my videos make more sense, Christy? Because like when I'm just kind of on a train of thought, like that's kind of how my videos get put up. It's like, all right, I have footage. I get to this point, I'm like, ooh, piece of candy. Let's take this. All right, I'll splice this with this. It's like I'm just vomiting my mind into the ether.
That's what I do too, but I keep muting myself because I'm trying not to laugh really hard because I was just like, a piano.
Well, well. We enjoy hearing your laughter because
Thank you.
it often has snorting accompanying it. And
Yes, it does.
I saw some Urkel memes earlier, and they were very
Yeah,
impactful.
yeah. People have literally, they're just like, if especially if they're drinking, they've had drinking contests where if I snort, they'll take a drink. Yep, yep,
Is that how a lot of your friends get really hammered?
yep. Uh huh.
Okay.
So, what were you saying about YouTube and everything like that?
Oh, it's the modern memes of production, basically. Because I'll hear a lot of folks. This is the thing that bothers me. It's like when you get folks, it's like, oh, we have to not like these people. Why? Because we disagree on things. Do we really disagree on things? Do we really disagree on things that are core and that important to us? I would disagree with a lot of that disagreement there. The reason why I say this is because I've talked to folks with on the quote unquote fringes, the far sides of the distribution, left, right, up, down, whatever it is. Again, just based on my experience, most folks just want to live a good life and be left alone. So,
Uh, I don't know if is it the Austinator? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I actually agree with that because streaming now is the means of the future, pretty much, and especially with stuff like YouTube and Twitch and etc. This is a platform for people to put their names out there because not a lot of people usually can't really do like stuff like they can't really make movies and such, and they're using YouTube to plug their show and movies and stuff. And it kind of bugs me when celebrities and stuff do YouTube because they don't really need to do it. They are like, take The Rock for example. He has a YouTube channel. Why? He's already because YouTube, I think for me, should be for more the creators who aren't going to be able to do stuff like that. And
go on.
I prefer YouTube over Twitch anyway, because Twitch, that's a mess over there. And I don't know about Mixer because I just can't stand things like that.
I had forgotten my Mixer password, but they recently closed, I believe.
Really?
I actually interviewed folks at PAX East this year back in, I think it was March, literally from the Mixer team.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about what they were doing, it's like for the data, what they're trying to do, it's you already had Twitch, YouTube gaming is growing, and basically I think they transferred most folks what they were doing over to, I think, Facebook gaming, I believe.
Facebook has gaming?
Well, why not? That's the thing, Christy. Like if everyone's kind of copying each other, it makes a lot of. From my perspective, like I worked in telecom for a while, so what will you see? You'll see like a lot of these large companies that might be an internet service provider, maybe they're a cable provider, and they provide different services to you. What have they been doing? It's like, all right, well, you had basically Comcast bought NBC. Within DirecTV, who did they buy? I think no, AT&T I think bought them as well, and a lot of these broadcasters, they also have the rights to different things. Like if you want to just get like ESPN, the way they write a lot of these contracts and stuff with the different providers is it's like, all right, you can't just order ESPN because that's going to be like $60 because that's a la carte or whatever. You need to order the cable package, which comes with TBS and all these other like Turner brand or whatever it might be. Actually, ESPN I believe now is Disney because Disney owns like half the world.
That's true. And you have a point because when I come to YouTube, I don't. Here's the thing: Brie Larson has a YouTube channel. I don't care about Brie Larson. I am neutral when it comes to with the Captain Marvel movies and movie. In my opinion, it was boring. It was just okay. But she went from someone who had one video over 20,000 subscribers at the time. I clicked on that. She was already monetized. So that was a deal that celebs and stars are already doing with it's already with Google, and celebrities are doing, they're already making a profit versus even the higher contents. You have someone like PewDiePie. I hope I'm saying that name right. Who built up his content, and a lot of the whoever, individual people who have channels. And I'd rather listen to them instead, or smaller channels that if I want to send a super chat to or something like that. Nothing like a celebrity, because you're right. I've seen The Rock's YouTube channel before. He doesn't do half the stuff. That's all editors and stuff like that.
I think most of his content is posted on his Instagram,
Oh,
or at least most of his actual stuff. Because I follow him on Instagram. He has a lot of daily updates, and he does say some fairly inspirational things and everything. And it's usually just him like working on like eating pancakes and stuff.
that's true. But
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone has like their different preferred platform for a lot of the stuff they do. And to be fair to Brie Larson as well, if she had like 20,000 views, depending on how long the video is, she may have hit the okay. She has at least 1,000 subscribers, and if she's got the 4,000 hours, she can be monetized.
within 12 hours.
Well, here's the thing: if she got enough views, I mean, well, let me bring something up. So I think it was Culture Casino saying it's like, well, I got pushed forward a Brie Larson video. My question was, it's like, all right, have you watched any videos about Brie Larson as a key topic?
No.
You haven't watched any videos that involve Brie Larson from anybody within different communities?
You'd be surprised. No.
Okay. All right. No. You know what, Christy? I can believe that. But you get the gist of what I'm saying, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you have the one video, it'll the algorithm and stuff like that.
All I know is within the greater different communities on this internet stuff and things, I've heard a lot of folks in this area talking about Brie Larson.
I know.
So it just stands to reason that a video from Brie Larson's YouTube channel coming up doesn't seem that out of the realm of
Oh,
possibility.
I completely agree with you. And I've heard people say, "Well, I was suggested a Brie Larson video," and I was like, "Well, did you watch something with Brie Larson in it?" No shit.
People's minds sometimes get turned into pretzels, and I turn into a dragon. This is the thing, because it's like, I feel a lot of folks, I think we need to try to be more honest with each other, because I feel like a lot of people are just kind of like, they're putting forward a certain image, persona or something. Yes, I say that with a dragon and the chroma key background. But at the same time, they don't necessarily want to admit everything. And it's like, well, why am I seeing these videos? It's like, well, I don't know. Have you talked about this person or stuff and things? Now, very often, at least in my opinion, I've heard a lot of folks talk in very negative ways about these folks. And then all of a sudden, if they recommend something that's about that person in a positive light, like, should that be surprising? Because I've heard quote unquote SJW saying it's like, well, when I'm looking for feminism and videos and stuff on that, I'm getting shown like a Sargon of Akkad video. Why? Well, he's talking about feminism in a negative light very often. And yeah, is it surprising because some of the key words are heavily interacted with? Why would this surprise anyone?
Exactly. And I think some people, I don't want to say it's a grift, because I do think that they actually have a point to talk about, but that doesn't mean I'm going to watch every video that somebody does or something like that. I love the people in the community, but YouTube as a whole is just not within a community like the fandom itself. It's broader. I mean, it's stuff like that. But I bring it back to with Brie Larson, because when you see her first video, I'm just like, okay, I'm not the best editor in the world, but come on now. And then all the other content creators who are higher up there, I think only one of them I recognize. I was just like, so Brie Larson really just asked these people, hey, come and do a video with me on my new channel. Without any, I don't want to say without any kickbacks, but I mean, that's free advertisement for them, I guess you could say.
Well, right. It's mutually beneficial. It's pro bono.
Exactly.
Is there anything wrong with that? Because
no,
nobody's
there's not.
ever done that before.
I absolutely. I mean, hey, if you want to do that, that's fine. I completely understand that. The Austinator, please talk if you at any time.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking over
just
them.
you just butted. We'll just keep on going.
I usually like I don't like speaking when other people are speaking because I do feel like I kind of feel like I'm being rude if I do stuff like that.
I'm the same way. That's why very often, like Christy, I'll also mute my mic to give other people a chance to kind of jump in there. Again, there ain't no official rule, and I think this is how a lot of folks they don't like hopping on streams necessarily because they feel like they can't get a word in and they don't want to be rude. I tend to be that same way. That's why I mute my mic because otherwise I won't stop.
Yeah, that's sometimes that's with me too with some of my streams is that I'll talk with somebody and then sometimes I feel like because there are times where I cut people off and such and they're not even finished with the conversation and I'm like I probably should have done that differently in a sense and I've been through stuff like that actually at going back to the disagreements thing I my shtick with the lives with my stuff is that I usually talk about movies and such and I disagree with people all the time with that can it get heated sometimes absolutely like but I think what the thing is with disagreements is it's okay to disagree on things because if we agreed on every single thing then it would be boring like if I said if I agreed with somebody that the sequel trilogy was good which I personally don't think it isn't I think that again, it's boring because then it's, the same conversation over and over again. It's like, oh, hey, you like this? Yeah, yeah, I like it. But so to me with disagreements, it's like, it depends on what you're talking about.
Well, and that's the big thing because what I noticed, and I was on a Discord thing that just kind of a little impromptu thing for some folks within the intellectual dark web, let's say. And basically, it was a patron only thing. So it's like, all right, you get a bunch of folks there. So it's like you have certain folks that are quote unquote willing to put their money where their mouth is, be able to at least shell out $5 a month. And you know what? If they want to be an asshole, at least they were shelling out $5 a month. That typically wasn't the case, but you end up having an individual. You only thought like 4 or 5 people were going to show up. You end up having 20 folks there. And what I noticed is a large majority of the folks they weren't necessarily going to say something because if you have certain personalities that are there that end up kind of monopolizing a lot of the conversation, you might not have other folks share ideas. And my big thing is, no, we need to have a diversity of viewpoints and different ideas and stuff like that. Because guess what? If we're going in the wrong direction and somebody had an idea that could prevent us from wasting a whole bunch of time and we didn't hear it because they didn't feel like they could speak up, that sounds like a problem there that we should probably try to address as I mute my mic and let other people talk.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on those points.
I was going to say, I agree too.
Oh dear God, we're already having so much agreements. This is terrible.
I know what, like really when and he was talking about how he doesn't like the sequel trilogy and stuff like that. That's fine. I'll be perfectly honest. I can give two shits about Star Wars and Star Trek. I've seen them. I like them, but that's not my forte. But I mean, I'm just like, okay, sure, guys.
Well, this is the thing. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like, have I watched a huge amount of Star Trek? No. What? Did I call myself a Trekkie? No.
No, exactly.
Did I watch Deep Space Nine and enjoy it? Yes. Now, I didn't even watch all of Deep Space Nine, but it's like, okay, I like a lot of these concepts. I've watched some of the new movies. I mean, is it necessarily Star Trek? I don't necessarily have enough context to say if it is, but I'm like, it was a good action movie. I saw, like, the first, like, redone one within the past like 15 years with my old man and stuff. We had fun. And at the same time, it's like, all right, I watched the sequel trilogy. Actually, I haven't finished. I haven't watched like the Rise of Skywalker yet. I heard there's a lot of action, but it's like I watch. I'm like, all right, we got the Force Awakens. I'm like, all right, well, this is cool. It's different and stuff. I feel like I would like some explanation about certain things. There are certain things that I thought that maybe should have been fleshed out more, but I'm like, all right, I'm interested to see. I go watch Rogue One. I start getting very confused because I'm like, all right, where's Rey? Where's Finn? Where are all these other characters that I was introduced to that aren't there? Oh, I see what you did there. Oh my God, Vader. So that was my reaction to Rogue One, and then it's like, all right, the Last Jedi. It's like I hear all these terrible things and everything, and I watch it. I'm like, all right, so Luke's kind of chilling there. He seems ashamed of himself. This isn't exactly how I thought things would go, but I'm like, all right, he either like did the Obi-Wan Force Ghost thing, or apparently he could teleport or something. I don't know, and I haven't watched the last one yet. I'm like, all right, it was Was it my favorite Star Wars movie? No. If I took away the label Star Wars, was it a sci-fi action movie and decent? Yeah. I'm just like I don't see it as the end of the world, and apparently it isn't, because now within canon from Star Wars Rebels, you can have different veils of the Force as well.
Well, I can't even see when The Last Jedi was on Netflix, and I've told people this. It took me 2.5 days to get through it because I was just like, can they really do that with my limited knowledge that I know about the either what's canon or what's not? I was like, can they do that? Is that supposed to happen?
You mean just as far as saying it was literally all a dream, kind of like Roseanne?
Yeah, I was just like,
Isn't it the easiest out though? Well, here's the thing, and the one thing that I sit back and again, do I necessarily believe this is the case? Probably not, but there's always still a chance to where it's okay. What if the rumor, the quote unquote, take it with a dump truck of salt rumor of George Lucas being like, all right, he kind of saw what happened. Maybe some promises were made. I've heard some conflicting stories here. But what if he was like, well, I want to do other things? Because I heard the reason why he got away from Star Wars was because he made the prequels. A lot of Star Wars fans were pissed at him. He got a lot of hate for that. So he's like, screw it. I'm going to make billions of dollars by selling to Disney. Power to him. But what if he's like, all right, you know what? I ain't a spring chicken anymore. I kind of really wanted to do this. You are giving me absolute and complete Star Wars power. You ain't messing with the old stuff. And I will make my trilogy.
The thing is with the prequels, I will actually say, as a Star Wars fan, I didn't think the prequels were that bad. I think that the problem was that the prequels were kind of ahead of its time, especially with a lot of its visuals, and they were starting to do that PHX thing and the green screen effect. It was kind of ahead of its time, and I think a lot of people didn't really understand, I'm pretty sure they appreciated the new technology, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people really weren't. And I will say the writing for the prequels, yes, it was kind of choppy at times. I will agree. The Jar Jar Binks stuff, I did not care for. I didn't really like the romance between Padme and Anakin, but there's a lot more positives than negatives with the prequels. Like, the action was fantastic. I think the score was phenomenal. And I will say that a lot of the direction that they went with some of the characters, I think, were done very well.
My thing is, I like Jar Jar. I thought it was fun. And just the sheer fact that we never know if he was truly Darth Binks or not. So, but and then again, just look at how they kind of started. It's like, all right, you just take the Weird Al version of it. It's like, oh, their response, it didn't thrill us. They locked the doors and try to kill us. It's like, all right, you got those first scenes. It's like you got Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and doing the whole Jedi thing. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Dude, it was fun. And I feel like a lot of folks, they kind of just hold on to like a certain nostalgia because, well, especially like if you kind of grew up with that, maybe if you're on a date with like a loved one or something with that, like that's a very impactful experience because, well, you've only been around it on this planet for so long. And if you've seen that and then you see something, even if it's visually better and stuff, it might not have quite the same impact as the original had on you. So a lot of times some folks might be like, oh, this stuff is shite. And they kind of make their voices known. And that turns some people off. And I feel like some of it is kind of there, but then again, at the same time, I'm looking at the movies, I'm like, at least what I've seen, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we could have done better. And my big thing is, wait. Isn't there an extended universe? Haven't I been listening to, like, I don't know, Star Wars theory videos and, like, Darth Plagueis and stuff like that? I thought that was how, like, Jay and Abu Nas kind of, like, got to know each other. They're talking about Darth Plagueis. I'm like, I want to talk about that lore and stuff. That stuff's awesome.
And see, that's what I don't understand is if there's such a big universe, why don't you just focus on other characters than trying to bring in what you would say, quote unquote, the main characters? Maybe have them as background characters. But I don't know. I can pull up stuff from, like, who is it, Jaina Solo and...
Well, right. Well, that's the thing. It's like, wait, don't you already have, like, established characters within a universe, and I thought the story was pretty darn good. From some of the stories I've heard, I thought the most powerful being in the entire like Star Wars like universe was some basically was it the like the stepmom of like the fates of like Morgulus or like the Sith planet or something. Like she came in and like even like super like Jedi Prime like Luke Skywalker had to team up and stuff like that, and the battle almost killed him and stuff. And they only managed to banish her. I'm like, wait, you're saying you couldn't have brought this up on screen and like made a movie or a Netflix series using this stuff? Like, we have established content here. I'm like, dude, I would love to see that story. And you know what? If you want to do a little bit of virtue signaling for this and that to expand your audience, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Just do it well.
What do you think, Austinator?
So my thing is that I like, so like to go back to the Pinterest like grain of salt stuff. When the rumors with the sequel trilogy apparently not being erased from canon, some people I know got upset about the whole oh my god, it's it's not gonna be canon. Then they're getting upset, and like, I know it's fake news, but let's think about it for a second. Things in Star Wars don't always stay canon. Like, let's take Force Unleashed, for example. That was canon until Disney was like, nope, we're not going to make that canon anymore. Disney has the power to say, okay, this is canon, this is not canon. And again, I understand that because they're trying to say, okay, this is the story we want to tell. But sometimes the story that they're trying to tell doesn't work, and they say, okay, we'll just put in the EU stuff. And, with a lot of the EU stuff, I would like to see certain EU stuff be brought back into canon, like such as Force Unleashed, because Vader having an apprentice would not shock me. And
right.
With the stuff that you said, I would like to see stuff like that, like with the Plagueis stuff and etc.
Yeah, and my big thing with a lot of the stuff is I look at it, it's like you can pretty much do what you want, just tell a good story and everything, put it together, and I don't know, maybe try to show some respect to characters and everything, because like, let's face it, everyone loves a good Easter egg. Everyone loves it when somebody can pop in like a historic catchphrase or something like that. You can pay homage to previous films and other things like that. It's like folks love doing that and everything, and you can do it in a way that makes sense. You can tell the story that you want, and I don't know, I think we could do a lot better with a lot of the stuff we got going on here. I don't know. We've surpassed an hour here. I kind of want to set this up for testing and everything. I do actually need to download some more programs and everything, but we'll wrap it up, and let's go over to the lovely Christy immediately on my right. Christy, let the folks know what you're all about.
You don't have to do that. My channel's according to Christy. I mean, just in live streams and just try to support people. Just subscribe to memes, subscribe to the Austinator, and just help each other grow. I mean, that's all it's about, just having good conversation. So thanks for having me on, Memes.
Oh, much welcome. Thank you for coming. And the Austinator, why don't you let folks know where they can find you and what you're about?
Sure. What's up, guys in the chat? I'm the Austinator. You guys can find me at the Austinator17 on Twitter, where sometimes I post stuff, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I like stuff. You never know. You guys can find me on Discord at the Austinator, and you guys can find me on YouTube at the Austinator, where I'm trying to reach my goal of 50 subscribers. I'm at 48. I need 2 more. I do live discussions. Sometimes I review movies, sometimes I rank stuff, sometimes I read fan fiction. Yeah, it's kind of a roller coaster over there. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You never know what you're gonna get. So just go check it out. It's a fun ride.
Exactly. And hey, man, you gotta have lows to have highs. That's the way I try to look at it as well, because hey, this is the big end of stuff and things. Every experience we have, it adds to who we are. It helps us level up. So thank you all for watching. Be safe, everybody. Peace out, and long live the elbow bump. This is where we hit the thing. Oh God, I hit the thing the wrong way. I hit the thing.